Hey everybody, it's Dean again. Today is a very special video because it's something that is very important to me and it's something that hopefully will help some of you. And so I'm going to talk about what it was like coming out to my husband as trans after being married for 10 years. So let's get into it. If there are any of you out there right now who are in a long-term committed relationship and you're worried about coming out to your partner or partners about transitioning or being trans, or any feelings you're having about gender dysphoria or anything like that, please feel free to DM me, message me, talk to me, vent to me. I'm here for you. I know how scary that is. I know how hard it is. If you need somebody to talk to or anything like that, I'm here for you. My biggest advice to any of you is, if you feel up to this point your relationship has been healthy and loving and that your partner truly cares about you, the thing they probably want most for you is your happiness too. And sometimes the hardest thing is the thing that just has to be done, and that's communicate. Give your partner the chance to show how much they love and care about you by talking to them and letting them know how you feel. Because most likely, they'll want to help you. They'll want to be there for you. I can't speak for everybody and for every relationship, but let me kind of tell you what happened to me. I've been with my husband for 13 years come this November. And we've been married for 11 years since this past February. And we have two boys, and we've been through so much together. I was married to him during my senior year of high school. We've been through everything together that a couple could go through. A lot of stuff. Some stuff that no one even knows that we went through, because we went through it with just each other to help each other. And he's always known that I relate more to masculine things, and I've always kind of joked about, I'm the guy in the relationship, jokes like that. And I've always been able to talk. I have always been able to talk to him. We didn't always used to be great at communicating, but we've grown so much in our time together, and every hardship we've had, we've always come out stronger on the other side, and I'm very grateful for that, and we are very lucky for that. But this one was different because I've never wanted to do things for myself. The idea of making a choice or doing something that could upset someone I care about was too great. I can't imagine having done this without his support and his care to start transitioning, because the last thing I would ever want to do is hurt him or hurt anybody that I care about. And so it took a lot before I was able to finally tell him. And there were two major catalysts that showed me that I had to tell him. I had to. The first was, I had already talked to a few close friends about how I felt years ago, and then they had already been using male pronouns for me and already had been talking to me in a way that was as if I was a trans man, and I loved it, and I was getting more and more used to it. And the biggest leap of this was, I went on a trip with Ophelia and I introduced myself with my preferred name and my preferred pronouns, and I had never done that before. That was last September. After that trip, I came home and I knew things wouldn't be the same for me anymore. I couldn't keep living normally the way that I was after the euphoria I experienced being myself in this different city where no one knew me. And then I heard a song, and the song was called Go to Hell by Lux. And the words were, I shouldn't have to be forgiven for being me. and I don't know how much I'll change, but in the end, I know it's best for me. Just the whole song really, really got me emotional. I was crying. I was rocked by this song, and I knew I had to tell him because I love him. I love my husband, and I needed to trust that he loved me too. And I needed to trust that his love didn't have conditions or boundaries. And if it did, even if it did, he deserved to know how I felt because he should know that I trust him. And I tried to tell him. I tried to tell him so many times. So many times. I tried over and over, and I couldn't. I couldn't get the words to leave my lips, and it was frustrating because I know he knew. I know he knew what I was trying to tell him. He's so smart, and I was being obvious, but he needed me to say the words. He couldn't do it for me. He couldn't spell it out for me. He needed me to say it. He needed to know that I felt like I could talk to him. Unfortunately, I never could say it verbally right away. I wrote him a letter and messaged him, and I couldn't say it verbally at first. Sorry. And his response was something I had never expected, and that made me very emotional. And I wrote it down, obviously, and this is what he said. He said, "I love you. I'm not going to pretend to understand when I don't. However, I say that because I want you to know that I support you in all aspects of exploration and discovery of who you are. I see who you are as a person as I would define it, and I love that person. I already love you, so I take no issue with the modes by which you decide to communicate that unknowable person on the inside to the open world, with myself included. The female you, the male you, the gender neutral you, etc. They are all synonyms of that you that I am in love with." I don't think, I'm gonna cry, guys, holy smokes, okay. I don't think he could have said it any more simply or any more meaningfully or beautiful than that. And it is that. How I decide to present myself doesn't affect me as a human, because he knows it's just me continuing to grow into the person that I should be, the best version of myself. And he wants to encourage that because he loves me. And that's more important to him than me putting on a dress or being somebody that I'm not and making myself unhappy. And just having that support and having him be there for me has been life-changing. Everything after that moment was so much easier. Like, that was the one conversation I had never had with him. The one thing that I held back. And once I let it go, there's nothing between us now that I haven't told him. Like, he's there for me. He supports me. I get to talk to him about my tea updates. He's just there for me. And coming out to him was the greatest decision I've ever made in my life. Not just because he supports me, but because I got the chance to show him that I trusted him. I trusted that he loves me unconditionally, and I trusted that we would make it through it. And he showed me that I was right to trust him, that I was right to trust our love for each other, and that we continue to grow stronger through all the things that we've been through. Unfortunately, I know not all relationships can be like that. I know not everyone is as lucky as I am when they come out to somebody that they've been with for a long time. And for those of you, I'm so sorry. And I hope that you find somebody who can love you for who you are. But I also know there are a lot of stories like mine. But they're both married, and their partners have been there for them through their transition, and it's beautiful, and it's amazing, and it's better than any happy ending Disney's ever given us. And it can help give other people like us hope that if you are in a serious relationship, whether you're married or you have kids, or maybe you've just been dating for a long time, transitioning doesn't have to change that. So to all of you out there, I hope that you get the courage to give your love that chance and to be who you want to be. And I hope that that person proves their love to you. And if they don't, I love you. And I know that there's somebody out there who loves you too.